Hello, I'm ABXToyCat, and here's a not-so-fun new message you might have received when loading up Minecraft today, and yes, it's a bummer, but it also confirms that the next update is coming out in March of 2025, as it literally says right here, and so what this really tells us is how many weeks there are left of development, and also how much left we have to see in the spring drop, and in today's video, I wanted to answer the big questions that I had after seeing this, and that maybe you do too, right after I confirmed the bigger question of who do the greater than 99% of house fires happen to, and the answer is people not subscribed to the IBXToyCat YouTube channel. Do with that information what you will, but let's start with the big question of why would Minecraft discontinue devices in this way? And the answer is that if you actually hit the more info button, they'll explain it in a bit more detail, where they say that as Minecraft grows, so must the operating systems that support it. As of March 2025, the below operating systems provide the minimum specifications to receive future Minecraft updates. So if your phone or tablet can run Android OS 9 with at least 1 GB of RAM and 1 GB of storage, you will still receive future updates. If you have less than any of those specs, say 512 megabytes of memory, you will not get any future Minecraft updates after the March 2025 one, which is interesting and we'll circle back round to, but here's the same thing for Amazon and for Chromebooks, and for Apple it's iOS 14 and above, which to put in perspective, iOS 14 runs on an iPhone 6s, so even if you have a 2015 phone, you'll still receive updates after March. It's just if you have a 2014 iPhone 6 non-S, then it will stop receiving updates after then, which means 10.5-year iPhones are still going to receive this March 2025 drop. But then comes the question of why are they discontinuing these to begin with? I think the number of devices being discontinued here is very, very small, so why go through the effort? And the answer is that they need to make sure that the minimum Minecraft specs are high enough so that when they develop new features, they can work in a more effective way. To explain that better, think about the beacon. When it was first added, the mobile devices running Minecraft at the time were very, very weak, and so it was only visible from 4 chunks away, whereas the Java edition has much higher minimum specs, and so they can make it visible from the edge of your render distance. This is one such example of where catering to the lowest common denominator can actually be a bad thing, and now think about how if Minecraft raised its minimum standards substantially, they would be able to raise the quality of not just the beacon, but also any other new features they add, and so it gives us an idea that things going forwards after the March 2025 update might require slightly more performance, and so that could be a good sign for the June 2025 update, but we're getting ahead of ourselves because we need to talk about this update that's coming, because Minecraft already sort of hinted it last year when they spoke about the PlayStation VR and OpenXR devices being discontinued, but they've now re-dropped this hint directly into Minecraft that there will be an update in March of 2025, and so what will that be? Okay, this section is really simple. When is the next Minecraft update coming out? March of 2025. Here it is in the help article, here it is in the game, here it is in September of last year when they announced they were cancelling the VR systems. Basically, Minecraft is releasing another update in March, and so the only question is this definitely going to be the spring drop? Because that's what most people mean when they say the next Minecraft update, the next big one, and Bedrock doesn't necessarily release only big updates. In fact, last Tuesday we got an update that had no title, no name, and no announcement. It was just called 1.20 1.60, and they changed the entire world in it. It was huge, but will we be getting another one of those in March? It was entirely possible that we did until last week's snapshot, of last week's beta to be precise, on Bedrock, where they actually removed the toggle for Drop 1 2025. In other words, they confirmed that 1.20 1.70, what could be the next minor update, is definitely going to be the spring drop. And so Minecraft's next release, assuming they're not talking about bug fixes, and assuming they don't bring back the toggle, we've never seen it before, but who's to say, but assuming that everything goes on the way that it's gone in the past, the next Minecraft update is definitely the spring drop. And so when can you expect to see brand new cows and sheep and leaf litter? You can expect to see them in March of 2025. Except, let's do one better. Rather than just saying, well, they say March, and it's going to be March, let's do what I love to do on this channel and actually analyze that by going into past release dates. So Minecraft have released 4 drops so far. The drop system is quite new, but we have the Bats and Pots update, we have the Paws and Claws update, we have the Bundles of Bravery, and the Garden Awakens. 4 drops which have come out in just over 1 year so far, and there's one thing all of these release dates have in common, and that's that they all came out on a Tuesday. This is Minecraft's preferred day to release any update. Indeed, last Tuesday was when the last one came out, and it's not impossible that they released release things on a Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, but they've never released anything on a Saturday, Sunday, or Monday, and so we can say immediately it has to be one of these 16 days in March, but realistically one of these 4. Except we can then go a step further and say it's not just the 4th, the 11th, the 18th, or the 25th. This update has to be coming out on one of the later 3 of those, and realistically one of the later 2, because Minecraft updates on Bedrock, which is what we're talking about in this video, because that's where they're going to be sunsetting some things. It's just that Java updates tend to come out at the same time. So Minecraft Bedrock updates always have to have a 2-week lead time because they have to go through something called certification. This is where they send the update to each of the platforms, Nintendo and then Apple with their iOS 14 apparently, but they send it to each of these systems and those companies make sure it runs on those pieces of devices. This is actually something we have to do with marketplace content too. I am releasing my add-on tomorrow and the marketplace had to ensure that it works on all content, and they also made sure that they confirmed that if you have less than 1.5 gigabytes of RAM, it won't work for you, and so they won't show it for those people. Just as an interesting little thing, by the way. But anyway, so to go back into the main point here, certification has to take at least 2 weeks. It's taken 1 week and 6 days before, but when it comes to bigger updates, Minecraft tends to leave it about 3 weeks, and so if they started certification after this week's beta and preview, not impossible, just not necessarily likely, then the earliest they could get an update out is probably by Wednesday in the next week. This is something, again, it's not impossible that they would get it out on Tuesday. It's just that they probably wouldn't try, because if any platform fails, then they'd have to delay the entire update, and that would make it hard to market. And so, will this update be coming out on March the 11th? I still think that's unlikely. I think that we're still in the phase of the update where we're likely to see not just bug fixes and them getting the update ready to release, but I think there's probably a few more changes that are going to be made. I could be wildly wrong about that, but I think that means that we probably have at least until the 18th or the 25th. It's just not impossible that it releases on the 11th if everything goes to plan, but that means we now know the release date of the next Minecraft update to a very, very narrow window of 2 days being about 80% chance between the two of them, which is really, really cool. But like I mentioned in the beginning of this video, I think the much more exciting question is, so if they have to release on one of these 2 days, because they try to release on Tuesdays, and if they have to have a 2-week lead time at the minimum, that means that we know development is ending in the beginning of March at the very latest, which is, wow, 2 weeks from now. So what's going to happen in the next 2 to 3 weeks? The answer is honestly probably not that much. What we've seen in the spring drop so far is probably going to be about 90% of the end update, because as we know from past previews, it tends to be that when Minecraft is about to release a brand new update for everyone, especially a major one, they used to spend like quite a few weeks and even like a full month just doing bug fixing, but for these mini drops, they can tend to just do a week or 2, but they have to do at least that week or 2 of fixing the bugs which they've introduced during the development of the drop, and ideally some other bugs too, but that's just a nice benefit if they can. But anyway, that means that if they want to release and not the end date of March, we have probably 2 previews left, and the odds of one of them containing new features is quite low. If they release it at the very end of March, March 25th, which is likely, whenever someone says a deadline, they probably mean the last minute possible in that deadline, and so if I tell you that I'm going to do something in 2025, you better believe that means probably September or later, and so I think that the March 25th date is most likely, but that still gives them likely just 1 or 2 at the very most, more previews and snapshots worth of adding features to this. And so what are they going to actually be adding? What can be added? Well, I theorized before just now that they've focused so much on adding new things to the hot biomes that cold biomes could logically be next, and that is a idea I still stand by, but I think that unless they have some of those ideas already done, the last thing that we could maybe expect is cheese. Because if you recall, John, who by the way is not a Minecraft developer, the person I've liaised with about him confirms that is not true, but John has made a bunch of predictions about this update, including fireflies and pigs, and he's been correct about each of those predictions, besides this weird one about cheese. Is it going to be that we're going to see cheese added in the next snapshot, and that will be the last feature in the spring drop? Is it indeed possible that there are no more features in the spring drop between now and its release? The answer is that we never actually know, but this Wednesday is likely going to be the telling time as to when we know a lot more about when the update's releasing, but right now, based based on all of the other things going down at Mojang, including, by the way, a Minecraft Live, which they want to do presumably not long after, or just before this update releases, I think that March 25th is almost certainly going to be the date, but that still only gives us a little bit of time to add new things, and so the question is, what are they going to add in that time? Make your predictions in the comments of this video so you can see if you're right on Wednesday, I guess, but for now, it's time to conclude. Last year, we theorized that Minecraft had given away the release date of their first drop in 2025 solely because of this announcement about March 2025 and the minimum specifications for future Minecraft updates after that one, and it seems as though everything we're seeing so far is doubling down on that being true, and although this is a bummer for anyone who has Android OS 8 or an iPhone 6 that they want to keep playing Minecraft on, ultimately it does have long-term benefit for the game, and also for anyone who are on those platforms, just know that you'll be able to enjoy the spring drop, and because of your sacrifice, we all get to know exactly when the spring drop is coming out, which right now looks like it is most likely going to be the 11th, 18th, or 25th, but I would especially keep your eyes peeled for the 25th. That's when I'm personally going to be assuming it's coming out, and I'm very excited to know that we are now just a few weeks away from this spring drop coming out, and then as you all know what happens after that, we get to learn about the next update. The new era of Minecraft is actually pretty awesome, and even though I have some reservations about how they're doing the update titles, I mean, how many times in this video have I had to say 1.20, 1.70? That is not a catchy version number. 1.22 would have been great, Mojang, but yeah, I am very curious about this next update, and I'm excited to see it releasing because I think, honestly, I've considered it a lot. The leaf litter and lodestone changes alone are going to change my survival experience when loading up new worlds, and hopefully all of the other things make the world feel just a little bit more alive. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow when the brand new IBX Boss Blitz add-on officially releases. I am very excited for this, and I look forward to seeing you then.